And welcome to SVG-TV News 11/2018. I'm Yvesta Bowens with the details. Unprofessional and unacceptable is how President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Wendy Bino, is describing the government's relations with unions in this country. Bino's blunt statement was expressed last night at a town hall meeting organized by unions here to review the 2018 national budget. The newly elected Teachers Union president charged that the government was tardy in communicating with unions about pre-budget consultations and also described as disrespectful the government's response to their correspondence.
PSU, Employers Federation, SVGTU and other workers' union will appreciate the opportunity to present a submission and to be part of the pre-budget consultation process. It is our view that we are invited too late in the budget cycle. Our trade unions are a bit concerned with the unprofessional approach and breach of protocols of communication. For example, now phone calls to invite us to budget consultation. We are also alarmed with the way in which our communication to government is met with silence. We view this non-acknowledgement of correspondence as unprofessional and not in keeping with expected protocol. The long-standing government practice of avoiding genuine negotiation is also unacceptable, and it is our hope that we can restart negotiations as it relates to salary increases, pension reform, and other pertinent issues affecting government employees.
Bino said it was critical to have negotiations on pension reform for public sector workers.
Our constituents, the members of the Teachers Union, and the other public sector workers are deeply concerned that to date we have not received an opportunity for the unions to be engaged with the government in a collaborative manner in an effort to have the enormous but important matter of pension reform dealt with. The view of the trade unions is that retired public officers must not be in a worse off position. So our nation and the workers are depending on us. Through the advocacy of the Teachers Union, many of our colleagues with degrees were appointed to graduate positions recently. The Teachers Union applauds this effort, but we note that some of our teachers in similar positions and some who have retired have not benefited from this. We would like for these abnormalities to be dealt with as a matter of urgency.
Chartered accountant Kirk De Silva has suggested that government should do more to inform workers how they will be affected by the national budget. The managing partner of KDLT was the feature presenter at a budget review meeting involving the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Public Service Union, the Employers Federation and Teachers Union at French's House last night. De Silva said that it is important to outline how the budget realistically affects workers, impacts development, and its implications for the business community. He noted that the concept of surplus and deficit must also be clarified.
Get it clear that that if a budget is in balance or in surplus, that an economy is being managed very well. And if there's a deficit budget, that it's not being managed so well. It's a misconception, which I think sometimes politicians do talk about and mislead our people. But the surplus budget and the deficit budget are important and basically depends on the state of the economy. So if things are good and there's a boom, you may well have a surplus budget. But when things are bad and you want to pump money into the economy, a lot of government expenditures and so forth, then you may need to have a budgetary deficit.
De Silva congratulated newly appointed Finance Minister Camila Gonzalez for trying to improve the debt service situation, but felt it was still too high.
So if we borrow and we spend on productive enterprises and not on recurrent expenditure, it's okay. But even then, one must come to the conclusion that the cost of debt service has become very high for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and as a result, it puts tremendous constraints on the spending capacity of the government to provide goods and services to our people, and places constraints too on the government to invest in projects so necessary for economic growth. And I think that's the point. Our debt repayment has increased over last year and seems to be growing. Although the minister did mention in his budget, to be fair, that steps would be taken to drastically reduce the budget. And in all practical terms, it has started because there's a balanced budget, or a budget with a very minimal surplus. And that's a start.
De Silva said he felt the corporate tax should be further reduced to 25% to 30%, as this will help businesses to invest more.
Those companies that got tax cuts actually invested more. So although we shouldn't expect corporate tax cuts to cure all, there are a number of reasons to slash the official rate. I am of the view that a cut to 25% to 30% is a good move between that range. Of course, it was 32.5, it went to 30 and 29 respectively. In fact, they should add here that almost all of the advanced countries or economies have already reduced their tax rates.
The Ministry of National Mobilization is implementing various strategies to break the silence surrounding sexual abuse of children. Frederick Stevenson, the Minister of National Mobilization, shared this information as he delivered an address in support of Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, which was launched last Monday. Minister Stevenson said that a significant number of cases of child abuse are still not reported, and he highlighted a year-long community sensitization program aimed at addressing this issue.
A year-long awareness campaign would be undertaken under the theme, Every Child Safe, Every Community Awake, with a main focus on child sexual abuse. This theme acknowledges the tremendous power in communities to address the problem of child abuse, including strategies for prevention, intervention, and treatment. As a community, we must break the cycle and arm ourselves with the facts to battle the signs of child abuse and care for our most vulnerable. Over the next few weeks, the focus of the campaign will be on the effects that sexual abuse can have on a child's life and the repercussions that may occur in both the individual's childhood and adulthood.
Minister Stevenson added that the continuous training of key stakeholders is another strategy being implemented to break the silence on child abuse.
Persons are reporting cases of child abuse to the Child Protection Unit within the Development Division. The Ministry is aware that there is still a significant amount of unreported cases. This is a prevailing culture of silence that must be broken. The first step to break the silence is to raise awareness and understanding of our duty to report suspected cases of all child abuse and neglect. To date, educators, police officers, health officials, and other key stakeholders have received training on mandatory reporting of child abuse response protocols. In order to achieve compliance with the child abuse reporting regulations, an ongoing nationwide training will be conducted so as to strengthen the child protection systems here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The minister took the opportunity to encourage stakeholders to work together to combat the sexual abuse of children.
Preventing child abuse and supporting victims of child abuse is a collective responsibility. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the vital role that all childcare institutions play in keeping our children safe. I believe that we have made progress in improving the lives of our vulnerable children, but there is still much more work ahead to be done to prevent child abuse and neglect. I call upon all Vincentians to observe this month and encourage you to wear blue ribbons in solidarity with child abuse victims. Let us renew our commitment to protect the safety and well-being of every child and giving them a chance to succeed. Remember, children of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and education is a very important weapon to prepare children for their future roles as leaders of the community.
Minister Stevenson also noted that work is being done to improve the foster care program. The National Mobilization Minister said that family-based care of children in need is superior to institutional care, and the ministry is doing its utmost to improve the foster care system.
There are approximately 213 children in state protective care because of abuse and neglect. The ministry recognizes that any form of family-based care is better alternative to institutional care for our children who have been rendered in need of care and protection, whether as a result of abuse or neglect. Presently, there are just about 120 foster parents, which suggests that very few families are participating in the foster care program. In order to address the issues facing our foster care program in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the ministry will be conducting foster care assessments to ensure that its foster care program is safe and effective in meeting the children's needs.
Minister Stevenson said that the ministry is also looking at improving the care provided to abused persons at government institutions.
The ministry also recognized the need to strengthen our residential care system and will be reviewing it in the not-too-distant future. This revision will provide clear distinctions of the types of services being offered and clearly standardize efficient and effective management, operations, and maintenance of each institution. The intention is that there will be improved institutional monitoring and evaluation framework, thus enhancing the quality of care provided in those institutions. The ministry will also be moving towards the licensing of all residential homes to ensure that they comply with the minimum standards for residential care setting.
No one person is safe until a point is reached where everyone is safe. That's the basis upon which the SVG Christian Council will host a national conversation on crime and violence on April 18th and 19th at the Methodist Church Hall. At a media launch today, Chair of the SVG Christian Council, Bishop Leopold Friday, said that the events will provide an opportunity for the various churches and civil society to take the lead in looking at ways to curb crime and violence in the nation.
Financial institutions and places of commercial activities, the assault on women, girls and boys, more recently, the emerging trend of violence among our youth and other forms of violent crime. The frequency and nature of these occurrences concern the church and provides an opportunity to deepen reflection and deliberate action. Crime levels in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are simply too high. They are unacceptable and destructive. In fact, crime and violence are a development issue. The high rates of crime and violence in the region have both direct effects on human welfare in the short run and longer run, effects on economic growth and social development.
Bishop Friday said that the upcoming event is a follow-up to a panel discussion on crime and violence, which was held by the Council in 2015.
Information on the nature and types of crime committed, current trends and strategies being employed by law enforcement authorities, and insights into rehabilitative work being done. But it did not provide any specific way forward as to how to prevent, reduce, or manage crime and violence in our society. So this national conversation on crime and violence, we hope that the outcomes would be a reduction in crime and violence, especially in gun-related, over a 5-year period, engender a wider conversation on the issue of violence in our society, and explore practical ways in which the churches can aid in its prevention and or reduction. The development of an action plan by the churches in concert with relevant stakeholders to mitigate crime and violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the possibility of publishing the findings and conclusions of the conference with the specific aim of making recommendations to the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the matter of crime prevention and reduction.
The chair of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Christian Council is urging the public to be part of this national conversation on crime and violence. Former manager of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Cooperative Credit Union, Julian Jack, has been found safe and sound after going missing for a few days. A family member who preferred not to go on camera told SVG-TV News that Jack left home on Sunday and they became worried when he did not return that night. A search party, which included the police and family members, found him in an unused house in the Peters Hope area this morning. His vehicle had been discovered Monday night. Jack was reported to be disoriented but unhurt and was taken to the Barley Health Center and later the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital for medical attention. The family said Jack's disappearance was quite a scare and they are thankful to everyone for their prayers and demonstrations of concern. Jack, a former national cricket administrator who resides at Arnersville, was the first manager of the Teachers Cooperative Credit Union. He retired in 2017. With less than 1 month to go before the official launch of Vincy Mas 2018, all components of the festival have given their promise to do their very best to enhance the June-July festival. At the official media launch held last evening, heads of various carnival associations took the opportunity to share their expectations for the 2018 Summer Festival. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
To celebrate 41 years of the June-July Festival, the Carnival Development Corporation CDC on Tuesday, April 10th, held the official media launch of Vincy Mas 2018, the hottest carnival, I tell you.
Heeding the call of the CDC's chairman, Ricardo Adams, to lift their game, all components of Carnival, Pan, Pageantry, Mass, and Calypso said they are all set and ready for Vincy Mas 2018. President of the SVG Calypso Association, Earl Cabba Bennett, is confident that the music component of Vincy Mas will again deliver a high-quality production, with some 25 shows slated for the Calypso art form alone.
We believe that we must expose and we must give our Calypsonians more opportunities. So apart from the humorous Calypso competition that was introduced in 2016, we are exploring the possibility of having an extempo competition. After many years of decadence, we have reactivated the Queen of Calypso. And that show will take place at the Rogers Auditorium on the 8th of June.
Representative of the Carnival Bands Association, CBA, Juanita Alexander, noted that some 15 mass bands will be on show in this year's Carnival, 14 of which will be competing for the prestigious Band of the Year title.
2018 marks the start of the CBA's 2018-2021 development program, where emphasis will be placed on masquerade education for children and youth. Ignite is the rebranded official launch of costume band presentations for 2018. Ignite will set in motion the intense competitive spirit of masquerade producers as the bands vie for the premier Band of the Year title, Mardi Gras. Ignite will be staged at Victoria Park on Saturday, May 26th.
As her organization celebrates 40 years of existence, President of the Yulupan movement, YPM, Onika Morgan, pointed out that it is going to be a fantastic Vincy Mas 2018.
The levels of participation, the competition, and the friendly rivalry that are expected to intensify at both junior and senior panoramas. This year, it's 40 at 40. In this, our 40th year, the first prize for senior panorama competition is $40,000.
Coordinator of the Beauty Shows Committee, LaFern Fraser, said her committee remains committed to producing an even better product this year.
Pleased that we have had new sponsors coming on board with Miss SVG. It's showing that more people are interested in investing in the competition, but more importantly, investing in our young women. And that means a lot to us. This theme for 2018 is Women Who Empower. Last year, it was Empowering Women and Girls 2017 and beyond. This year, we wanted to take a different spin and be more all-encompassing and inclusive.
Congratulating the CDC for its work over the years, Minister of Culture Cecil Sesmaki noted that Vincy Mas is not only the hottest carnival in the region, but the best.
All of the components, what we heard coming from the CDC itself, would surely leave us with no doubt that we have a very special product. Our premier cultural event and an event that we can sell to the world. We've invested in the Vincy Mas product, and more so within recent times, invest in the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
With the official launch slated for Saturday, May 5th, all Vincentians are urged to come out and support all events under the 2018 Vincy Mas calendar. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Nikita Tony.
Meanwhile, CDC Chairman Ricardo Adams has re-emphasized that Carnival is of great benefit to the country as it promotes festive and cultural tourism. Delivering remarks at last night's official media launch of Vincy Mas 2018 at the Kingston Cruise Terminal, Adams said that many persons are of the view that Carnival does not benefit the nation, but this is far from the case.
If we don't pay attention to Vincy Mas and we don't support it, I know there's a feeling in some circles that Vincy Mas is not something that is beneficial to the country. It's an opportunity for us to release some steam, but that it doesn't financially benefit the country. Guyana just launched their first carnival ever. Guyana is now going to have a carnival. Jamaica just had a huge carnival on the weekend. They're investing a lot of money into developing their carnival. Crop over, everywhere you go, you see crop over branding. Crop over is branding in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Everybody who has a carnival is trying to make it bigger. There can only be one reason for it, and that is because carnival is of benefit to the country. People recognize that festival tourism is where we in the Caribbean can really market ourselves and continue to grow.
Noting that a lot of work is being done to enhance the overall Vincy Mas product, Adams said this year the CDC will be offering attractive all-inclusive packages to carnival lovers, and tickets for events will be available very early.
It's a little condensed because we're no longer doing the 40th anniversary celebrations where we had the 4 decades of celebrations. So the program is a little condensed, but that does not mean it's any less energetic. Starting a little bit later than we did last year, we're going to pack the same energy that we had last year into a shorter program this year. Time Vincy Mas launches, we will have both physical and online tickets available for sale so that people from overseas people locally can get the physical tickets, and people from overseas can do the online tickets. And again, this year, we're trying to work to put together packages so that people can come and buy a Vincy Mas package that runs from Thursday to Sunday night. So you can buy that as a package, there'll be value added. We're also inviting persons in the private sector. We're inviting promoters to come and work with us. We're inviting the bands and the Juve bands, etc., to come and work with us, and we can put together packages.
Adams expressed gratitude to all sponsors and supporters of Vincy Mas and challenged the components to up their game.
We go to them and we say, we need your support. And every year they say, we have worked well with you. We continue to enjoy a good relationship, and we want to continue to support you. So again, thank you very much to our sponsors. Thank you very much to the Vincentian public, the police services, everybody who works with us, all of the civil society membership that works with us to ensure that Vincy Mas continues to grow. Work with us. Help us to help you, because we are trying to create marketing strategies. We're trying to create marketing plans. We're trying to go extra Vincy. But if we don't have the material to send to them, then we're basically going to be limiting what we can do.
Young people here are being challenged to capture images on how climate change is affecting the nation through a recently launched photo and video competition. The competition targets people between the ages of 6 and 30 years and aims to create a video or a photo indicating how climate change is seen through their eyes. It is a part of a larger climate change public education campaign themed "The Climate is Changing, SVG is Changing." Nyasha Hamilton, environmental educator and National Climate Change Focal Point, emphasized that public awareness and public education is an important component of the push to integrate climate change considerations into every aspect of life of the Vincentian populace, and it's good to begin with young people. The competition runs from 1st March to 30th April 2018 and is being organized by the United Nations Development Program, Japan Caribbean Climate Change Partnership, and this country's government. Applicants can visit www.bb.undp.org to download the application forms for entry into the competition.